Welcome back, everyone, to the Bitcoin Business Bureau. I'm your host, as always, Litecoin Leader. Today we're on the road again. It's Wednesday. That's usually the day I go and get some groceries. But for today, you're just going to get a ride along with me. So we're going to talk and we're going to answer a question that I actually got from another channel, Economic Ninja. Economic Ninja was attempting to explain a question which a lot of experienced people in crypto would say that's a silly question. There are no stupid questions. There are no bad questions. There are just people that are learning and they're just not where they need to be on their journey just yet. So just hang with me as I explain this as the best I can. So the question that came up to Ninja today, which he tried to give a reasonable answer to, but I think that I hope I give a better one. So the question was, when you spend, say, $40,000 to buy a Bitcoin at an ATM, for example, where does the money go? And how does the transaction really work? Because you're giving $40,000 and you're getting a digital asset. Where does the money go? So let me explain it with an analogy, because we all know, I think we understand now, that Bitcoin is an asset. Okay, Bitcoin has been deemed an asset. So think of an asset. Think of any asset that you could sell. So let's start with a car, and I'm going to represent a car with a key. Okay, let's say this car, and I pick a car because it's worth, some cars are worth around $40,000. It's in the ballpark. So if you're going to transact a Bitcoin and you're going to sell a Bitcoin from one person to another, that is a person-to-person or a peer-to-peer transaction. That means that you and I agree, like, it's just, you see an ad. I have run an ad in the paper. I have a car for sale, and I'm asking $40,000. You come over, you like the car, you say, here's my $40,000. I give you the key. Obviously, there's a little bit more registration, all that other stuff. But essentially, you and I agree on a transaction. Think of any item at a yard sale, for example, as a simpler example. You don't need to do paperwork, but let's just say that's how you do it. It's a peer-to-peer transaction. Now, that may sound a little crazy to you, but believe it or not, in the early days before centralized exchanges like Coinbase, that's how people did this. People would meet. They would meet at they would look people up on localbitcoin.com. I think that was the website. And they'd go and meet at like a McDonald's or a Starbucks, and people would exchange money for Bitcoin, and the money somebody would move Bitcoin from wallet to wallet, like on an Exodus or a Bitcoin, like on the Bread wallet. Back in the day, there were those. And people would see, you just give people, it would look like a really weird, like you're buying something illegal. That's what it looked like. You'd hand over money and someone would send you something digitally, and all of a sudden, boom, you've got it. So that's how it worked. So now when you do a transaction with an exchange or an ATM, you're involving essentially a third party as an intermediary, and that intermediary takes a profit, which is their fee on top. So if you want to buy this car for $40,000 and I list it on CarMax.com or something like that, that may have a listing fee of, say, $1,000 for that. Or think of eBay. eBay has a listing fee, and you could buy that item, but eBay's going to get their cut. So if you're going to go through an exchange, that Bitcoin of $40,000 may actually cost you $41,000, because Coinbase will take a percent, or someone, or ATM, and some fees can be rather high. I've seen ATMs 9, 10, 11, 12%, but sometimes that's an advantage because of what you're doing directly onto the blockchain. You're doing an on-chain transaction. So that's how you do it. Now, where people have a hard concept with it is that I'm buying something, I'm giving you $40,000, and I don't even have a key. I don't have anything tangible that I could touch and put in my hands. Well, you're buying a digital asset, okay? A digital asset. Now, that digital assets exist. Some people will point to NFTs, and that's not a really good example, but what I point to is a stock option, okay? A stock option has a value in a marketplace, and there's nothing tangible on it. It just says I could buy Tesla at $2,000 before that option expires. There's nothing tangible for me to touch or hold as an asset. But if I go on to the platform where I bought the option, I can buy it, I can sell it, I can hold it, and in terms of Bitcoin, I can borrow against it now too, because there are marketplaces for that asset. Same thing for NFTs. Now, digital assets exist, and digital assets have their legitimacy, but again, some people were like, well, how is it worth $40,000? Let's go back to the car. The car was invented a long time ago, and you can get a car for like $100 way back in the day, and that car would drive and that car would work. But you know, that was back 100 years ago. Bitcoin once upon a time was $100 as well, but because it's appreciated, it's transacted, people said, well, I'll give you $101 for it. I'll give you $102 for it. Transaction, 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 the price goes up. So over time, the value of a car has gone up. That just took 100 years to get from $100 to 40,000 or more. Bitcoin did it in less than a decade. That's part of the appreciation of value for Bitcoin. Lastly, the analogy does break down for cars because cars expire. They reach an end of life. Options reach an end of life because they expire as well on a certain date. Bitcoin has no expiration. So therefore, it is the best digital asset. That is why people value it so much, and as an asset, and it can be used as a currency in some areas as well. So hopefully you found that valuable. Hopefully that answered the question, and that that can afford you the ability to explain that answer to someone else. Now to continue, I have for questions like this or anything else you want to talk about tonight for my Patreons only. At 8 p.m. Eastern, I'm doing an AMA. You can ask me anything. You can ask me about these types of questions, further details, whatever you like about what's going on in the economics of the world, crypto, whatever. Or you can ask about CryptoConfidential, which is launching on February 1st. And I've talked about that on other videos. I'll link that as well. But CryptoConfidential, that's pretty much going to be the place to really get a hold of me. Forums are starting. People, like, we have a few people testing out our forums that are newer members. That's great. But if you want to get access to myself, Divvy Daddy, the rest of the Viva Capital team involved in CryptoConfidential, that's the place to be. And we start February 1st. So, and if you want the discount code for a lifetime, you're gonna have to reach out to me as well. I emailed it out for the last time yesterday, but if you want the discount for 50% off for life, you gotta reach out to me. I will give it to you. It expires January 31st, and then the price is the price. So, and I'll still give you an affiliate link at that point, but you've got a week or so to act. So, lots said today. I'm gonna close the drawer on the bureau, merge successfully, and say follow leader. Hope to see you tonight on the AMA, and I'll catch you next time. Take care.